Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for visiting the YouTube channel for bestbiblecommentaries.com. This video is a viewer request. Before I get to it, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, like the video if the content is helpful, and feel free to leave a nice comment in the comment section down below. All right, so the request was to talk about Alan Ross's 3-volume commentary on the Book of Psalms in the Kriegel Exegetical Library series. So I'm just going to show one volume to represent all three. And I also wanted to point out that Alan Ross is also known for this commentary on Genesis. Now, if you just look up Genesis commentary, like on Amazon, I don't know how quickly this will pop up because the word commentary isn't in the title. It's called Creation and Blessing, a guide to the study and exposition of Genesis. However, it's one of the best reviewed commentaries on the book of Genesis. I would call it mid-level, probably. But I know lay people who have done just fine with it, so that's a consideration. It's excellent for studying Genesis, but it's also excellent if you're teaching through Genesis or preaching through Genesis. It would be a great resource. Alan Ross, before I go any further, is professor of divinity at Beeson Divinity School and is also taught at Trinity Episcopal School of Ministry and Dallas Theological Seminary. So he's written a book on biblical worship, introducing biblical Hebrew. This is the other commentary, though, that he's known for. All right, so let's talk about the Psalm commentary. So there's 3 volumes altogether. So if you get this set, this is obviously going to be one of the more expensive commentaries on Psalms. If you got all 3 volumes, it'd probably be around $100 typically. But that said, some people absolutely love Alan Ross and absolutely love his Genesis and Psalms commentaries, and so there'd be many people who would say it's worth it. But obviously, that's another issue where it's kind of to each their own. All right, so with the first volume, of course, we have the introduction to the book of Psalms, and it takes up this much room here, so it's about a 180-page introduction or so. And then we come to the first psalm. Now, all of the psalms in all 3 volumes are organized in similar subsections, so I thought I would show you the subsections. Make sure I got that. Trying to get it on camera here. All right, so Psalm 1, the life that is blessed, introduction, text and textual variant. So introduction is the first major subcategory. Give you an idea of the size of the font. A little bigger than usual, a little bigger than most commentaries. So some will find that helpful. Here's the second major section, commentary in exposition forms. One of the things that Alan Ross does in his Genesis commentary and in this his Psalms volumes is he gives a lot of outlines, and it can be very helpful. So here's an outline right here. It can be very helpful to preaching and teaching, but just also helpful to understanding the context because you can see it. You can see the organization clearer when you're seeing a outline. Did I say timeline earlier? I meant to say outline if I said timeline. All right, there's the next major section, message and application. So one of the reasons that this commentary is very well reviewed is because pastors have found it very beneficial for ministry. If you're looking for a deep dive into the original language, into the Hebrew of Psalms, you're going to want to look elsewhere. As I'm thinking about it, another criticism's too strong of a word, but another place where some reviewers wanted to see more from this commentary is his interaction with the New Testament. So that said, it's still a Christ-centered exposition, but some people wanted a little bit more interaction with the New Testament. So I'll show you one more. Here's Psalm 2, the coronation of God's Son, the introduction, commentary in expository form. These bold highlights are kind of subsections are very helpful, easy on the eyes. And then message and application again. And then we come to Psalm 3. So very helpful. A couple of things theologically. Ross upholds the doctrine of inerrancy. Another example that I'll give that kind of shows Ross's view of Scripture and of the book of Psalms in particular. So if you're considering a commentary on the book of Psalms, let's say you're in a bookstore, one place you can go really quickly is Psalm 90, and you'll get a good idea of the author's perspective of the book as a whole. Psalm 90 is attributed to Moses, but there are plenty of Psalms commentators who reject that attribution and substitute their own ideas for who the author is or when that psalm was written. So this first volume only goes to Psalm 41. So I'm not showing you, but I wouldn't read it to you anyway. But Ross describes Psalm 90. He commentates on it in a way where he's familiar with the arguments from those who think that Moses is not the author, but he interacts with those discussions and then offers arguments in response, suggesting why the view that Moses was the author is the best conclusion to come to. So that's I think a good reflection on Ross's approach to all of the Psalms. And that's a good chapter to go to if you are considering a commentary on the Psalms, to get an idea of the author's approach to the text and approach to authorship. All right. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.